Caroline asked, I pre-plan, have consistent routines, and I actively manage my floodgate, so email, chat, messages. But by 3 o'clock, my mental fatigue is in zombie mode. When I come home, all I want to do is eat and sleep. What should I do?
It's pretty obvious. If by 3 p.m. you're already toast, then one of two things is true. Let's take each one of those individually. We just talked about misspending your energy. And what does that mean? It means that maybe you're caring a little too much. You're thinking a little too much across every single email, every meeting, every transaction, every single task or project you're doing. You're over-investing mental energy. You're over-investing emotional energy. And so by the time 3 o'clock hits, you're just completely wiped. The second thing is that I do have people who are chronically exhausted. Chronic exhaustion is where you have been burning the candle at both ends, not just for a year, not just for a decade, but sometimes for multiple decades in a row. And if you've got kids, or if you've got adult responsibilities, or maybe you're a business owner, this is where you can end up giving to other people, giving, burning it from both ends. And by the time you get 2 decades later, you are chronically exhausted. How do we get out of that? Well, first of all, let's acknowledge it took you 2 decades to get here. We're not going to snap our fingers and tomorrow somehow pull off some hack or trick that's going to rebuild those reserves of chronic exhaustion. I can point you to some indications that might help. Are we getting enough sleep? Are we eating right? Are you getting enough exercise? But also, are there chronic stressors in your life that you need to either systematize or create a different perspective around? How do we actually get to a point where we're actually right-sizing our investment in a lot of these things so that we're not overfeeling and overthinking and thereby sort of bleeding out energy? I used to be trapped on a roller coaster of emotion, meaning I didn't see myself as being able to have any kind of control over what I was feeling. I sort of had this feeling that I would wake up on any given day, and sometimes I felt up and happy and energetic, and that would be the good part of the roller coaster. And sometimes for often weeks at a time, I would be low or stressed or frustrated, and I would be on that part of the roller coaster. And it was a literal mind-blowing moment in my life when I realized I can actually get my hands on the levers here and decide, or at least abate some of the investment that I'm making in some of these things. But what it takes is creating that very brief moment of space. What do I mean by space? Once you've already gone through the roller coaster, you can't go back and undo it, right? So once you've gotten pulled into a dramatic email that creates a lot of stress, fear, and anxiety for you, you can't go back and sort of reclaim energy after the fact. Once the energy is expended, the energy is expended. So what really has to happen is in that moment that we're starting to get sucked in, and you can sometimes feel it somatically. You can start to feel a tension in your chest or wherever you hold your tension. If you can create just a second, a beat where you can say, it's happening right now. Right now, it's happening. This is the moment. This is the precipice where I'm about to go over. And once I'm on that roller coaster, I'm going to have to go all the way through the ride. That would be step one. Even if you can't stop it, just having these moments where you stop and say, this is the moment. This is where it happens. This is where I go over the edge. And then what you'll start to identify is that the more times that you can pause, then what will happen is you'll start to be able to inject yourself in there and say, okay, this is going to be stressful and it is going to make me fearful and anxious, but let me see if I can just hold back 1%. So let's start there. 1%. Can I hold back 1% of my energy? Can I hold back 1% of my mental energy or emotional energy and just keep it for myself? So meaning I'll still acknowledge I'm going to go over the roller coaster here, but let me just see if I could start to exercise that muscle, practice that a little bit where I'm just able to start claiming something back. And the second that you can detect, wow, even if you got 1%, now you are on the path of being able to claim 2%. Or 5% or 10%, because I would argue that what's hard is not getting from 1 to 10 or 50%. What's hard is that pause. That's what's hard. What's hard is the moment, the beat where you just say, this is where it happens. This is where I need to make the intervention. And this is where I can decide how much energy I'm going to invest into this. I can decide how much intelligence or thinking I can put into this.